Welcome to Bears Banter, week number 4. Chicago Bears against the Colts. Colts 19, Chicago Bears 11. Wow, I didn't see that coming today. Let's jump right into it. Today we have the whole staff: Jay Beasley, Guy Moore, Tammy Harris. I mean, let's just jump into it. I mean, no playing around with this. What happened? You want to start with you, Guy?
It's easy, man. They didn't call the same type of game that they did last week, man. It's like a total, like, instead of a tale of two halves, it's a tale of two games, man. I mean, they talked about how Indianapolis defense, don't get me wrong, man, they defensive line was killing us, but it's kind of hard to run the football when your back gets the ball, and by the time you touch the ball, it's leave one or two guys tackling. They call it a different game. It's like pass, pass, run, pass, kick, pass, penalty, pass, run. And I know, it got to the place that, they wasn't giving us the run. We had to pass, but it was like a train wreck, man. That's all it was. A train wreck in a different game.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good point. What about you, Jay? I mean, what happened today?
Totally disgusting. The bottom line is, again, and I've been saying it all season, I'm looking at the play calling. The bottom line is you cannot continue to do things that don't work. You change your quarterback and you get worse results. So it comes to a time when you look at it like, okay, is it the quarterback or is it the play calling? Nagy is so stuck in his ways with the play calling on offense and the defense. Our defensive line, our front seven, which was supposed to be our strength, is looking very, very bad. Very bad. So, yeah, it was just a lackluster performance from the whole team, coaches included.
Great point. Tammy, what happened today?
Man, play calling sucked. Like Jay said, completely, totally, absolutely sucked. 28 rushing yards, ridiculous. 240 totally unproductive passing yards.
Absolutely.
I have, defense. And just I said that they needed to show up and play for 4 quarters. They didn't even really play for half a quarter. Like, it was just ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah, it was one of those games where I was hoping I didn't fall asleep on it. I mean, really, nothing happened this whole game. I mean, Jay and Tammy was just sharing the stat line that the Bears were 4 for 14 on third down conversion. I mean, unless you're converting on first and second, third down conversion is an indicator of how well you're doing in a game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, we all saw the game, and for those who didn't, you didn't miss anything at all. I mean,
nope.
No, and they gave and penalties. They gave up a football field length of penalties. 103 yards in penalties. They gave up a football field of penalties.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good point, Danny. Good point.
Right. Now, hey, what was most of those penalties were on the defense, right?
Yep.
I know they had quite a few defensive penalties that extended a couple of drives.
They had 4 They had 4 penalties on defense that actually gave Colts the first down. They had 4 penalties that gave them first down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, if you're out there watching on Facebook Live, you'll see a code there. If you want to join the broadcast and add your opinion, we actually have some people right now waiting to get in. We're going to come to them later. Let's look at the record that we have so far. Right now, we have Tammy at 3-1, Jay at 2-2, myself at 2-1, and Guy at 3-1.
But no, how you Wait a minute. How
You
you
told it to
doing
dude.
what?
I missed the game.
How you doing what?
Hey, that's that new math. That's the new math.
That's the new man.
New math with an
Right,
F,
That's the
right?
new man. How you
right.
doing what?
Right. You don't count the fourth game, right?
Oh, okay.
Hey, man,
No,
let me put this out there real quick. If you like, people always talk about stats and stuff like that. Sometimes stats are good, but if you had not watched this game and I told you you knew about what the Colts were doing, and I told you Philip Rivers had 190 yards with a TD, their leading rusher had 68 yards, and we lost. You would say I was crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't even say no more, man. I'm done.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, what I did see today before we go to the next question, I seen the Bears defense actually miss a couple of opportunities early on. Khalil Mack dropped the interception. There was another interception drop. Then there was that looked like an interception by Roquan Smith where he kind of stepped out of bounds. But yeah, but those things where when the offense is playing as mediocre as they did today, the defense had to capitalize on it. Yeah, hey, I want to bring in a guest right now. I want to add in to add some of this question. I want to bring in Keith Floyd. Hey, Keith, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me. How y'all doing, fellas and ladies? All right.
Hey, we got a question. I want to see what your answer is on this. Was the Colts defense that good today, or was the Bears offense just that bad?
I think it was parts of both. As a matter of fact, the Bears, for lack of a better term, just got manhandled from the line play, offensive and defensive. When you start talking about Costanzo and Nelson, they were men like they're playing against your kids. It's like you in the backyard and your son say, "Daddy, I can beat you," and you're like, "Yeah, right, son. I know. I got it." So it didn't look like they were necessarily playing as hard, but they just, they were much stronger than the Bears. They were much more aggressive, offensively and defensively. But from a Colts defensive standpoint, DeForest Buckner is a load. That guy's like 6'8", 320 interior lineman. The Bears had zero answer for him. I think Charles Leno needs to give back his entire paycheck for this game because he clearly didn't do anything with it. I mean, that it was hard to watch. One of the things I was thinking while I was watching the game is it felt like we were down about 30 points. In the whole game, we were within 2 scores.
Yeah.
So, but mentally, you could just look at it and see we were being beat up.
Yeah.
So, I think the Bears offense wasn't that bad too. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great point. Hey, Guy, was the defense that good today, or the Bears offense was just that bad?
It was definitely a combination of both, man. I made the Leno joke. I said it's good that he's a left tackle. He couldn't have been a right guard. He stunk. Man, them dudes, man, I'm telling you, it's like we can't say anything bad about Indianapolis defense. I mean, were they like lights out? No, they wasn't. But they played like some grown, beat men. They was manhandling us, man. And it was like that thing when they talk about when George Foreman was fighting Ali, and he was busting Ali in the ropes, beating him up, and Ali said, "Is that all you got?" And he was like, "Yep, that just sounded like us." I mean, we got it. And like I said, the offense, man, the play calling was beyond suspect. And one thing that we talked about earlier, that I was telling Jay, I said, you know what? One thing Jay always said about this, like trying to run the ball out the shotgun. It seemed like they snapped the ball by the time Foles got it to hand it off to Montgomery. It was a dude already there. I'm like, is this good on the Bears payroll or what? I got tired of seeing him in the backfield, but it is a combination of both. But if I had to choose a side right now as far as neutralization, it was Colts defense.
Okay. Hey, Tammy, same question.
I swear I started to text you this question or something very similar because since I couldn't see, I was just listening. I really started to text you, like, are they really preventing us from finding the right rhythm and they're just really that good, or do we just suck that bad today? Because I couldn't see, I couldn't fully get a sense of it, and I swear I started to ask you this exact question. Because I was
Okay.
like, what is going on? We couldn't find a rhythm to save our life into like nothing could get going. And I was like, are they really stopping us like that?
Yeah.
Or is it us?
Yeah. Great point. Hey, Jay, same question. Was the Colts defense that good today, or was the Bears offense just that bad?
I ain't gonna be biased, but I'm still wasn't impressed with the Colts defense. I'm more looking at our offense, and the bottom line is, like I say, today was a step. Today was a 2 steps back. Today was 2 steps back, and I just think we had 28 yards rushing today on 16 carries. 28 yards on 16 carries. I've said Nagy refuses to run the football out of the I formation, which is what our offensive line's greatest strength is. And the bottom line is Nick Foles threw the ball 42 times. Are you kidding me? We was down 2 scores. We lost this game by 8 points. And your quarterback had to throw the ball 42 times? Same different quarterback, same results. It's play calling. So I'm going to sway to the side of our offense was just that bad.
Okay. Hey, great point, Jay.
Yes.
I thought the Colts defense was good today. I thought they put the pressure where they needed to. Uh, they stayed in on outside of the field. They push our linemen. The cornerbacks and safety played well. But I will say the Bears play calling was bad, just as bad. They didn't start going to the tight ends until late in the game. I mean, when you get that kind of pressure, then that's when you start taking your check downs. You go to the tight end. But what do the Bears try to do? They try to run a jet sweep. They still try to throw the ball 20 yards up the field. That's not what you're doing when you're under pressure. What you do is you shorten the field. You go more in a faster pace. Maybe you go no huddle. You know, I know it's kind of go hard to go no huddle when you just brought in a quarterback, but he's a professional. And that
He's a
leads me
veteran.
actually that leads me to my next question today is on Nick Foles. How was Nick Foles' performance today? Who want to start? You want to start off, Keith? I brought you back into the broadcast.
Oh no, yeah, no problem. I think Nick Foles underperformed today. Um, it didn't look like he was really on point with his accuracy, which was supposed to be one of his better strengths. Um, from a leadership perspective, he seemed a little bit confused out there. He did, attempt to kind of change cadence and draw a couple penalties. So those were some good things that he did out there. But he was definitely out of sync. Um, 42 passes. A couple of those flat passes actually hit wide receivers in the hands. So I'm not going to fault him on all of those passes, but a whole lot of them were behind receivers or underthrown. So if I'm giving him a grade, I'd have to give him a C minus.
Okay, C minus.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna go to you, Jay. How was Nick Foles' performance today?
Awful. Absolutely awful. He got us excited to see this Nagy 2.0 offense that we thought Mr. Trubisky was going to be able to run last year. And today, and the bottom line is, like I said, he's a veteran. He's a veteran. So I expected more, but his performance was awful today. He didn't get a lot of help in the running game. The offensive line didn't help him a lot. And like you said, he had a lot of passes that was high. He had some missed throws. He had some receivers drop some balls. But his performance to me was awful today, and that's just me in my expectations. His performance was awful. So Keith gave him a C minus. I'll give him a D.
Okay, you gave him a D. Okay, hey, God, same question to you. How was Nick Foles' performance today?
Gotta give him a D. Here's why. You're a vet, man. I mean, I understand we haven't had any preseason games and practices were limited, but my whole thing is I hold you to an entirely different standard. You damn near the Super Bowl. So you should be able to run like a 2-minute type offense in your sleep. Just passes that were thrown behind guys, just silly decisions, man. It just it's just like mind boggling to me. It's like we did take a step back. And I understand, the play caller wasn't that great, but you take a guy like a Tom Brady, come into an offense like this, you could take Tom Brady out the hospital, put some pads on him, and run a 2-minute offense. He ain't going to be trying to throw a 30, 40-yard bomb, 5 yards here, 8 yards here, 10 yards here, but they own the money and they're there. So he gets a D.
And I'm sorry for real. I'm sorry. Before you go to Tammy Bernard, I just want to say too. And the thing, the thing about Nick Foles is, you are a veteran, and this is the offense that you're supposed to know. And it just didn't look like you knew the offense. And not only that, this also is a telling tale that you ain't playing the Atlanta Falcons, you ain't playing the Detroit Lions. You had to step up the competition today, and you didn't show up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great point. When the competition changes, because I want to say Detroit lost again today, right?
Yeah,
Did they lose?
Yeah.
They had a 14-point lead and lost again today. Fire Matt Patricia.
So they're 0-4, correct?
No, they 1-3. They
1-3. And the who else did they beat? The Falcons. Did they win or lose today? I didn't get a chance to
play tomorrow.
They play tomorrow.
They play Green Bay.
Against Green Bay. So that's
so
a
they're
loss.
probably gonna lose.
That's a loss.
Yeah.
That's a loss.
Oh, okay, Tammy. Same question to you. You may have a hard time answering this because you was listening to the game, but how did Nick Foles sound to you today?
I mean, he didn't sound amazing. I was disappointed, but I mean, I did hear about the overthrown, passes and the ones that were too high. So I was disappointed. Part of me was wondering, if it was just, I don't know if it was all him. Like, I don't know if I blame it like all on him. It's definitely like the play calling. So, I mean, I think I would go with Keith and I would give him like a C minus, but I would say he definitely didn't live up to like expectations or the hype, and he didn't step up, but neither did the whole team. But I think if it was different play calling, maybe he would have executed differently.
Okay. Yeah, but what I saw today as far as Nick Foles' performance, he looked like he was kind of unsure of himself. I thought there were plays where he held on the ball too long. He wanted the deep ball too much. His placement today was off the mark. There was a couple of plays earlier where he threw it behind guys. It's like he didn't take what they was giving him. I mean, he was under pressure, but he wasn't under pressure where he was getting rid of the ball quick. He was actually holding the ball quite a long time, to be honest. He didn't look like he was working through his progression. He kind of at times looked kind of panicky, right? As he tried to work through his, I'm gonna say this, tried to work through his progression, because it looked like at times I'm not sure if he knew where his receivers were at. I got to echo with somebody. Somebody may be somebody check and see if you're on Facebook Live too, because the broadcast may be coming through on your device as well. But if anybody out there watching, if you want to join us, click that link at the top, and you could join us. There's something I'm gonna see if I can bring in. The only positive play of the game today, which was the. Let me see if I can bring this in. I'll share my screen. And what we have here. Okay. Let's see this for a second. Did it come in?
No.
No.
Okay, it looked like it was coming in.
About to play
Try to get.
Fortune. It's like we're about to play Wheel of Fortune.
I wish.
Yeah, I wish too.
Okay, I can see it's something about the live performance. For some reason, it doesn't let me bring in. Even hold on, we got something coming on right here. Hold on. Look like we was about to have it. We'll work on that. Okay, hey, let's go to the next question. How did the defense look today? Keith Florida gonna start. How did the Bears defense look today?
Whew, okay. Strangely enough, I thought the Bears defense didn't put in a terrible performance. Probably didn't play up to our expectations because we keep thinking that they're this defense from 2 years ago, from the 2018, and the reality is we're not that defense anymore. I saw at least one of the Bears linebackers actually show up, make a play, and it wasn't Danny Trevathan. I don't know why he's still out on the field. They might do better just replacing him with a defensive back and seeing how we. I'm serious. Seeing how we play that out. He looked 2 or 3 steps slow, and what's supposed to be his forte is stopping the run. So he's stealing money as well. I think the Bears defense. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're giving up 19 points a game in the NFL, you're putting your team in a position to win.
Absolutely.
So, you know, there was a couple plays that the defense made that could have, made a bit of a difference. They held them down, and they actually performed their job fairly well. They just didn't perform to the elite level that we come to from an expectation perspective. So if I'm talking about defense, I'm still going to give them a B- or a B because, again, at the end of the day, if we hold them NFL football team under 20 points, we're supposed to win that game.
That's a great point. Hey, Tammy, I know this is a tough question for you, but how did the Bears defense look today? I know it's a little bit harder to tell when you just listen to the game.
No, I kind of agree. I do think that they still put us in a position to win, even though they weren't amazing. Because I sent that text in the fourth quarter. I was like, this is still winnable if they show up. If the offense show up. So we had a chance to win all the way through to the end. And I would say that was in large part because of the defense. And the defense did stop them, in the red zone and stop them from scoring. Stop them from TDs. Through most of the game, they had to settle for field goals. So, I think that they did a decent job, just not what we expect and want from them. Like you said, like they weren't crushing, they weren't stopping everything like we want them to. But I think they did better than the offense. So they kept us in it, and they kept it winnable.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Guy, how did the Bears defense look to you today?
What is Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson all have in common? If you told every one of them that your defense was going to only give up 289 yards total and only put up 19 points, they would come kiss you. I mean, they had their moment. And my MVP, by the way, of the game had to be Roquan Smith, man. 13 tackles and 2 assists. Dude just showed he was the guy that showed up. But I got to give the defense a B. I got to give the defense a B because in the NFL, you give up 19 points, you're supposed to win that game. They played spotty. It was like the run. They would miss the tackle. I saw the one with Khalil Mack had to do that guy in the backfield and grab his jersey and just stiff armed him and took off. When that happened, I was like, oh man. But overall, got to give him a B. Then your boy Tashawn Gibson had 9 tackles with an assist. We talk about a safety, but Khalil Mack, 2 tackles. 2 assists. He's supposed to be our money man, but
Yeah.
still a B.
Okay, still a B. Okay. Hey, what about you, Jay? How did the Bears defense look today?
As a unit, I give them a B. I got a whole lot of things against a bunch of individuals on this defense that's not showing up. But as a unit, I give them a B because, like you said, Roquan Smith played sideline to sideline today. Our defensive line got mauled. I'm talking about manhandled today.
Mm-hmm.
I want to point out one particular person on this defense, and I didn't want to say it the first 3 weeks, but after seeing it today, Akeem Hicks, he's showing up with flashes. He's not really showing up as an every down player. He shows up in flashes these last 4 games, and that's not his game. That's not his game. You got defensive backs out here making decisions not to tackle people. But as a unit, I give them a B. But if I had to grade individuals, it would be a different story. But you give up 19 points. You only gave up 1 touchdown, and that was on, I want to say, the first drive. They gave up 1 touchdown. And they held the field goal the entire game. So, as a unit, I give them a B. But it's some individuals on the defense. They need to do some soul searching.
Yeah. They gave up 1 touchdown and 4 field goals.
Yeah.
That's a game you're supposed to win. If your offense what's that now?
That was another point I wanted to make. Does Robert Quinn play for us, or did he play for the other team? This was a big. Right, he's a big free agent signing. I thought it was Floyd again because he wears the same number. I couldn't tell the difference.
That's true. That is so true. That is so true. That is so true.
That is so true.
It's some individuals on this defense I could call out right now, for real.
Yeah. I mean, I get a defense a B- today. They did stop them from getting touchdowns, but what they did do that was kind of disappointing was they showed a lack of discipline on some plays where Tammy had mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast where they gave up actually a couple of third down conversions because of undisciplined penalties.
Right.
At one point I remember it was like maybe 166 yards or something to that degree on just penalties by the defense. I mean, that can't happen. But I saw this one play, Keith, that I thought was interesting on the first touchdown that you are probably I know that one made you mad, where you saw the Bears defensive back actually stand flat-footed right at the end zone and allow the offensive player to run 2 more yards and let him run into him. I mean, what you thought about that play as far as that?
I couldn't take it, man. You know how you watch games and you figure anybody out there would be able to do a better job than what you're seeing. That's kind of how I felt. You're waiting 2 or 3 yards in the back of the end zone for the guy to get to you. It's going to be a touchdown by the time he gets to you. That made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
I got a new.
It's too late. Yeah, you got to go. I mean, you play defense. You got to go get those plays. You don't stand there. You're not tackling anybody flat-footed. Not a good runner is not going to. And plus, you actually gave him 2 more yards by standing there waiting on him. And I would say he actually missed him. I think he barely even hit his leg when he actually came because you standing flat-footed and he just kind of went over to the right. But let's go to we about to wrap up the broadcast in a few minutes. We'll get down to the final question here. How do you grade the coaching today? I'll start off today. Right now, I think the Bears defense a B-, but I didn't grade the offense. I was laughing when we were sending texts back and forth, and Tammy said I get him an F, and I said I give him an F- if that's a grade. So I guess if you average them out, the coaching today was that would be a C- for me overall as far as coaching performance. Okay, what about you, Jay? What do you think about the coaching the grade for the coaching today?
Well, I was saying it all day. I give them a D minus. As a staff, I have to give them a D minus. And I'm harsh with it because I'm real with it like that. But Coach Nagy, your play calling, it's suspect, bro. It's suspect. It's suspect. You got to do what your team can do, not what you want to do, but what your team can do. And he's not putting these guys in the best position to make plays. So as a coaching staff, overall, I give him a D minus.
Okay, D minus overall. Okay, hey Tammy, how do you grade the coaching staff? We're down to about a minute 50 seconds in the broadcast.
Instead of an F, I'll give them a D minus only because they got the last touchdown and the 2-point conversion, but they still sucked.
Okay, hey, that's very simple. Hey, guy, what about you? How do you grade the coaching?
Oh, I absolutely give the coaching staff like a B plus because oh, wait a minute, we talking about the Bears. I thought you was talking about Banter versus Vanderpool, grade school football. Oh, okay. They get the deal. You know why? Because here's the deal. This is what you notice about great teams, and I think I said this in an earlier broadcast.
You froze up there, guy. We're going to come back to you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you good. You good.
Okay. I was about to pop lock. But really, what it is this. I talked about this in the first broadcast. We talked about why guys talk about don't run. And I talked about the Utah Jazz doing this pick and roll. You know exactly what's coming, but you can't stop and they keep doing it. Why would you completely change your scheme? Like, for example, this is when I knew we were in trouble because I had even talked to Jay about, we were talking about the text. I knew we were in trouble with the first few plays was like shotgun plays. I'm like, man, really? So now you got to run out the shotgun. So it's just, I give them like a D minus.
Okay, give him a D minus.
I'm shell shocked.
Okay, hey, Plank, how did you grade the coaching today?
Well, this might be a record day because I'm giving a lower score for defense than Jay did. I'm giving them an F. As a matter of fact, well, I'm not talking about defense. I'm talking about coaching. I'm giving all the coaches an F because I cannot think of one unit that won their individual battles. Special teams was terrible. They gave up a block punch. They couldn't advance the ball any. Defense, they were manhandled on the defensive and offensive lines. Secondary, they played passively, and the receivers didn't win an individual battle either. So if you in aggregate, there's no way you can get a coach's a passing grade on that.
A passing grade. Yep, you're right. So, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
That's a great point.
But that's like asking who was the tallest midget out there. Everybody was terrible. So,
well, we better. One of the things they better do is work on some of the play calling as we wrap this up. Is one of the things I know we kind of talk offline during the game is first downs were predictable for the Bears. They went under center and they ran the ball, or they went under center and tried to do play action. So giving them the same look on first down. So one thing they know for sure is we can just spin our ears back, and if you don't give them the ball, we just coming straight at the quarterback. So maybe you need to go with some 3 wide outs, 2 tight ends. They get nothing for like Tariq Cohen, where you would probably throw the little swing pass. But this week, we are facing who's the team we're playing this week? Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
Tom Brady them. So we'll see what happened. Tom Brady threw 5 touchdowns today and one pick.
Well, so 6 touchdowns.
6 touchdowns?
Just one for the other team. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Can I make one point? I gotta say something really serious here. It's something that's on my heart. It's got to be said.
Oh, go ahead, guy, before we close out.
Okay, Chicago Bears organization. I've been a fan all my life, but I only got one thing to say. Pay Allen Robinson his money. He had 7 catches for 101 yards. That's it.
Pay that man. Pay that man. Pay that man.
Pay that man his money.
And the only other point I want to make, the point I made in the pregame, which is why our defense looks as bad as they look. When you give up yardage on first down and second down, and you keep these teams, you're on the field in third and short, you don't have the privilege to rush the pass because now they can run or they can pass. You got to be able to set these teams down on first and second down to earn your right to rush the quarterback. And the Bears haven't did that. They just haven't did it.
I'll say next week they need to go back to finding Graham.
They need to stupefy the playbook.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yep. So we'd like to thank you for tuning in to today. Listen to Bears Banter. Tune into us Tuesday night. Let's do about 7:00 Tuesday night for the pregame show. We'll work on our prediction. Thank you once again for tuning in to Bears Banter. Peace.
Peace.